What's the world gonna look like in 20 years? Or what if I told you that the future already exists because the world's smartest people are busy dreaming it and building it? The future is coming fast, and your world will never be the same.
Believe it or not, technology that will make us into superhumans is just around the corner. Turn your body into a laptop and the world into your screen with a device you wear around your neck.
Whoa.
Get your hands on an ice-cold glove that gives you superhuman strength.
Bring the cool.
And gives me the mother of all headaches.
Come on, science.
Fit a bionic contact lens that turns your eyeball into a search engine.
Yo, Nicole, how you doing? How's Brooklyn treating you?
Meet a guy whose body is part man, part machine. While the rest of him gets older, his legs get younger and stronger.
I have a lot of shoes.
I have a lot of legs.
And test out a miraculous powder that regenerates arms and legs.
I grow body parts.
Let's jump to the future of superhumans.
Imagine what the future holds. Airborne taxis, cities and towns, puppies on a hovercraft, leap powered homes. Imagine what the future holds. Popular science, the future beholds.
My name is Baratunde Thurston. As a journalist and blogger, I've made it my business to keep my finger on the pulse of technological change. What's the world gonna look like in 2030? Get ready to see the future.
We're about to witness a revolution in human evolution. In the next 2 decades, our bodies will be able to do things that are straight out of sci-fi. Before you know it, prosthetic limbs will be stronger and better than our own flesh and blood. Ice-cold sports gloves will give us all superhuman strength. And bionic contact lenses will give us real-time information on everything we see. Most of the people I know spend half their days interfacing with some kind of portable technology. Smartphone, laptop, ebook, iPod. It can be a real hassle to carry all that stuff around. But 5 years from now, gadget overload will be a thing of the past. Instead, you'll be wearing your CPU around your neck. Your hands will be your keyboard and the closest wall, your screen. That's exactly the idea behind the prototype this guy has built. Pranal Mistry at MIT's Media Lab calls his invention Sixth Sense. And no, it doesn't see dead people.
So Pranal, when I think of The Sixth Sense, I think of M. Night Shyamalan, I think of a very, very scary movie. What are you doing with Sixth Sense here?
So it's not that, for sure. So Sixth Sense is basically a wearable pendant, a wearable gestural interface. So with Sixth Sense, you can not only look at information, but you can interact with information with your gestures.
So I don't have to bring a screen with me, I don't have to bring a keyboard with me. This projects or provides some kind of interface wherever I am because it's a part of my body.
Yep.
It sounds exciting. Can we play with it?
Yeah, why not?
Whoa, okay, so there are a lot of words, popular science, Twitter, Obama, that are bouncing around my chest right now. Where did they come from and why are they here?
So this is an application of Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense device actually finds out information about you from internet so that I can know more about you when I'm interacting with you.
So this is my personal tag cloud projected on me by you.
Yep.
I should have put some better words on here. Like super sexy, fabulous, irresistible.
I'm figuring out just what Pranal means by Sixth Sense. It's not intuition or ESP. It's augmenting our 5 senses with a constant stream of internet information. I talked Pranal into letting me try on the Sixth Sense for size and crossed my fingers I wouldn't see Bruce Willis.
Let's put it on.
Yeah, why not?
I feel like I'm being knighted. So this is definitely the heaviest necklace I've ever worn.
Yeah.
Then, Pranal pulled out the cutting-edge technology that would be my key to becoming superhuman.
Before you start, let me put this color markers on your fingers.
You're gonna take magic marker tops and put them on my fingers.
So
that doesn't sound very advanced. Yeah. Sixth Sense is powered by marker caps.
Yes. So we use color markers to track your fingers, track your gestures.
So each color it lets the computer know that there's something else going on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do it. A nice snug fit on my thumbs.
I use my index finger with the red marker to select then open an application.
I'm gonna click on the weather. A nice 72 degrees today. It's a really warm day in Boston. No rain, thankfully.
An iconic gesture, borrowed from Pranav's native India, gets me back to the desktop.
It's
Okay.
actually Namaste gesture in India.
Namaste,
so we
back to
borrowed
my
it from
yoga
there.
classes. All right. Okay, select map. There's Long Beach.
So you can zoom in a map or zoom out a map by just pinching.
Pinch and pull.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the hardware for Sixth Sense is nothing new. Inside the necklace are the guts of a smartphone, a CPU and some memory with a 3G connection to the web. Instead of needing a screen, it has a mini projector that beams out your desktop to a nearby wall. And there's a camera that's always looking at what your hands are doing. That's the real genius behind Sixth Sense, Pranav's gesture recognizing software.
What the software does here, that it looks what the camera is looking. So it understands what I'm doing. If I'm doing a Namaste gesture, it will understand it. I'm also doing Namaste. If I want to take a photo, I can just do the gesture of taking photo.
What makes this device different is that any wall or flat surface in front of you becomes a screen. You can email, Google, Twitter, whatever, as long as you don't mind an audience.
I'm not sure I want to check my email on a wall in public. Especially, is that a Facebook message?
So
oh
it's-
yeah, I definitely don't want to look at any Facebook wall post. Bad idea for most people if you have Facebook friends like mine. All right, so now I'm in the Paint program.
Yeah.
And check this out, graffiti that won't get you arrested.
It's an abstract work of art. I'm probably going to be able to sell this on eBay for a lot because this is my first digital, wearable, gestural interface piece of art enabled by Sixth Sense.
But how does Sixth Sense actually work on the streets? To field test my new Air camera, we decided to take a few scenic snaps around MIT.
That looks good.
Yeah. All right.
To see the pics I took with my finger, we just walk up to the closest wall.
I can zoom in.
No more laptops, cameras, cell phones, USB cords, uploading, or tiny LCD screens.
How much bigger can I make this? Ooh, check that out.
But a little reality check here. Today's version of the Sixth Sense isn't quite ready for prime time. Replacing the marker caps is just the start.
Get a cramp. Oh. I need to do more yoga. My immediate observation on this, I'm exhausted. You have to balance a lot. If I breathe, then the screen moves. If I wiggle a little bit, then the screen bounces around. So what are you doing to help stabilize some of this and make it a bit smoother for the future version?
The first thing that we are trying to make it a smaller version that you see here in around my neck.
So you're wearing the nice small version.
Yeah.
I'm wearing this big, bulky, hot lamp on my stomach.
There's a lot of work to do,
Yeah.
but that the key idea is out. And I think the next steps we are trying to improve or we are trying to make it better.
Pranav is working on a great modification, a stereo camera system that will more accurately track your finger gestures. This lets us lose the magic marker caps.
So we're gonna lose the marker caps? I was getting pretty attached to those things.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking forward to seeing where you go with this. All right.
There are still a few kinks, but when it finally hits the market, and that could be in the next 5 years, your digital Sixth Sense could be the size of a silver dollar and worn on your shirt like a really smart button. And it will probably cost the same as an iPhone.
Sixth Sense represents a big step forward in device integration and internet communications and portable projectors. I mean, you have the ability to share images, screens with you wherever you go and have a really gesture-based, tangible interaction well beyond the keyboard. Now, obviously, this was a very early cut. It's driven by glued together pieces of Lego, heavy projectors hanging around my neck, and magic marker caps to interpret the moves of my different fingers. But we are seeing cell phones come out with projectors built in, and there are even scientists working on contact lenses that will help us do a lot of what we just did today.
Imagine having the entire internet available at the blink of an eye, with a computer monitor on your contact lens. It's already more science than fiction.
You may be walking through a street and you see a restaurant and you'd like to have more information about this restaurant. That can be displayed in front of your eyes. You can imagine a number of different things. A personal GPS type thing that would show you directions to your destination. That information can be superimposed to what you would normally see.
At the University of Washington, a research team has set its sights on creating a real bionic eye. The challenge: build a screen as small as your iris and figure out how to wirelessly connect it to a computer you put in your pocket.
It's a very complicated device to make because we have to incorporate high-performance circuitry on the contact lens. We have to put small radios on the contact lens to be able to communicate with this device, send data to the lens, perhaps get some data back.
They start by boiling up some lead-free solder to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Into that, they dip a small polymer wafer that has a tiny circuit board etched onto one side of it.
So once these small components are assembled, we coat everything in a biocompatible polymer and mold the substrate into the right shape to make a contact lens.
Coming up, the incredible shrinking computer. Babak attempts to light up the first pixel on his bionic lens. And later, the hottest new device for athletes, a freezing cold glove that gives you super strength.
The future we hold.
Scientists led by Babak Parviz at the University of Washington want to put the power of the internet right in your eyeball with a bionic contact lens. To test it, the team tries sending a radio signal to a prototype lens that holds a single pixel.
So what we're trying to do is demonstrate a 1-pixel display that's wirelessly powered. So we have an RF transmitter that's transmitting power and data over to a small silicon chip on a contact lens.
And we have contact. The lens picks up the signal and lights up the pixel.
It was wonderful. You'd see that all the hard work has finally paid off, so we were all ecstatic.
So what if we take it to the next step? What if there are lots of pixels to spell out words and make pictures? Then, what if we merge Babak's bionic contact with Pranav Mistri's sixth sense? My intelligent lens gives me the lowdown on anyone my sixth sense detector detects.
Yo, Nicole, how you doing? How's Brooklyn treating you? Great to see you too. Your dog okay?
It's fine.
I saw some really cool pictures. Keep it up, keep it up. Oh, Alana, hey. I haven't seen you since South by in Austin.
I know.
How's the video blogging stuff going?
It's actually starting out like I actually saw it.
Good. Rock it out. I'm gonna check out that latest episode. That's really nice. That's really nice. Desi, what's up? What's up? What's up? And I heard you finally getting out of Jersey, going to DC.
Definitely, man.
Treasury Department, right?
Yeah, your hometown, dude.
See, I don't trust you with my money, but congratulations anyway. You know what I mean? Congratulations.
But hold up a minute. Before we get too carried away with this Terminator vision, when we last left Babak and his team, one measly pixel on a lens. That's like staring at a flashlight compared to a TV screen. This idea is gonna need some work.
The first pixel was definitely the most difficult. So going from 1 to 10 is going to be a lot easier than going from 0 to 1. And I think it would get definitely easier and easier, probably up to a point, and then again get more difficult as we get to extremely small dimensions.
It would take about 1 million pixels to create the images we want, and you can't do that by hand. So, Babak's gang dreamed up a shortcut. It's a technique called self-assembly. They make a liquid containing thousands of free-floating pixels. Then they sandwich a circuit board between two pieces of glass. When they pour the liquid into the sandwich, the pixels stick to the metal on the circuit board. 10 years from now, with a breakthrough or two, a real bionic lens could be on the market. Then, you'll never be blown off by someone you're sure you know. You'll get instant info or quick reminders on everyone you meet. You'll never have to wonder who they are or what they're like. That's superhuman knowledge. What about superhuman strength? Every time we work out, we bump into our all-too-human limits. Exercise for too long, we get too hot and have to stop to let the body cool. That can take up to an hour, time you could be working out. Biologists at Stanford University are developing a device that could revolutionize our workouts and give us all superhuman stamina, without steroids or performance-enhancing drugs. It's something you hold in the palm of your hand called a cool glove. And one of its inventors is Dennis Grahn.
What it's designed to do is to deliver a cool load to your circulating blood so you can effectively cool your body core down and literally pull heat out of the critical core organs.
Now, what's so special about the hand?
We have a large volume of blood to flow directly beneath the skin surface. That makes a really good radiator.
So your hands have radiators built into them.
Exactly.
The cool glove does for your body what a radiator does for your car. Suck heat away from the engine block so the motor can keep on humming. Today, Dennis is ready to prove to me his cool glove really works. He's gonna drive my body's core temperature way up, then see how quickly he can cool me down.
Okay, so we're about to test out the cool glove on me and on my body. What are you gonna measure?
Well, we're going to measure heart rate and we're going to measure core temperature.
A strap around the chest takes care of the heart rate. But to get the most accurate temperature results, Dennis needs to probe deep inside my body.
You have to stick a thermocouple about 2 feet up your nose.
I have to stick something 2 feet into my nose.
Yes.
Okay. Where exactly is it measuring?
The tip of the electrode here rests right at the level of your heart. And so it's as close as we can get to the heart temperature without doing something really invasive.
Is there an alternative to that?
Well, we can either go down or we can go up.
What does go up mean?
We'd be measuring rectal
That's
temperature.
all right. Okay, I'll put the thing in my nose. Nose.
Turns out this whole becoming superhuman thing is no day at the beach.
Just bend the tip a little
Bend the
bit.
tip.
There
Okay,
you go.
tip is bent.
Then you tilt your head back,
Tilt my head back.
feed it up, and then you kind of have to squirm it around a little to find the hole it goes down. It'll come down into your mouth.
Okay.
Okay, you didn't find the hole.
Maybe I did. Come on, science. Oh, shoot. He was just like, oh, it's normal. Yeah, well, everybody does this. I wake up in the morning, I shove a tube down my nose. I don't know what your problem is.
Suddenly, a flash of inspiration.
Like, I can tell you, like, I'm like hot. I know what hot feels like, and I know what not hot feels like, and we could skip the whole shoving the thing into your nose.
No.
Dennis just won't let me quit.
All right. I'm never doing this again. That took way too long.
Believe it or not, that isn't even the hard part. Dennis leads me into his scientific torture room heated to 105 degrees and asks me to walk uphill as fast as I can for 30 minutes.
Your heart rate's up to about 130 beats per minute. You're about 4 minutes into your walk.
Do a little dance on the treadmill.
It's starting to get warm in here, huh?
That's fine. I'm chill. See, because I'm really cool. Your whole experiment here probably not going to work on me because I'm just like a naturally cool dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. Here comes the water. 11 minutes. You're right on schedule.
I'm not on schedule. This is my schedule. My body, my rules.
But my body decided to listen to Dennis, not me. My core temperature went shooting up from its normal 98 degrees to a way too hot and totally exhausted 102.
Okay, your time's up. Let's turn this off.
Yes, please.
Start cooling you down.
Stop. Mickey. Stop. You won, machine. You won. Sorry I doubted you. It's hot in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm hot.
So you ready to cool down?
I'm definitely ready to cool down.
Now it's time to apply a cool hand. Instead of an hour's cool down, the cool glove should get me feeling refreshed and back on the treadmill in only 5 minutes.
Okay, well, let's try putting your arm in this thing and see what happens.
Bring the cool.
Bring it on, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, now we got your temperature up on the screen right there, so let's see what happens.
Hot. Am I gonna feel kind of cool, icy cold, like a Fantastic Four person touched me and I'm frozen?
Nope, you're going to feel invigorated, refreshed, not tired anymore, ready to go again, but you're not going to feel cold.
Okay.
Simply because you don't have any cold sensors in your core. All your cold sensors are on your skin.
Okay.
See? So you're getting the cooling effect, you just can't tell.
Here's how it works. The glove's cooling agent is a slurry of ice and water that delivers 60-degree pulses to the metal cone where the hand sits. 60 degrees is important because it is above the vasoconstriction point. Any lower would close the blood vessels and stop that cooled blood from reaching my organs.
My breath is coming back, first of all. The hand is definitely cool. Starting to feel a breeze on my legs again. Just a little less overwhelmed by it all.
After just 5 minutes clutching the cool glove, my core body temperature drops down to 99, and I'm ready to get back to my workout.
It's fine. Everything's great.
If the effect on me is anything to go by, the cool glove could change the face of fitness. All Dennis needs to do is turn his bulky prototype into a form-fitting, always-on glove. Judging by the evolution of this technology, that's definitely where he's going.
This is a brief history of the cooling technology as we've developed it.
First, can I just interrupt real quick and say this reminds me of Q from James Bond, with this crazy lab and all these wacky devices. You got tubes and gauges. So. Go ahead. Where did it all begin?
This was our very first device we started with. We grabbed a piece of exhaust tubing from a welding station at one of the HVAC shops around here. Stick your hand in it, we thought you had to go all the way up to the shoulder to get this cooling benefit. Okay, we ran a couple trials on this and retired it.
Okay, good.
This is really the workhorse of the lab for the last 5 or 6 years. So you stick your hand in here and simply rest it on the palm of your hand. You see, the big transition is we figured out all the heat exchanges going on
so
right in the
you're getting
palm.
closer and closer just to the
lower
hand.
down.
Right.
Okay, and this is, you can see it's kind of hard to get your hand in and out of.
Skipping past the history of Dennis's experiments, I catch something that looks to me like the future.
Where we're going is to develop the portable device, something that's based on a Camelback or a hydration pack.
Okay.
Something that you can freeze the water in your system. It's a cold source. You put it on your back, you go for a walk. The hand interface will look something like this.
Whoa.
This is a very crude
Okay,
prototype.
good. It's better than the big case.
Yeah,
but
it's not a
still.
big case. You can see it's something that's approaching an ergonomically correct glove.
Imagine, in just 5 years, you could be dropping $100 on a glove that will keep you cool the entire time you work out, extending our endurance and pushing all of us towards superhuman fitness without even breaking a sweat. Coming up, want Hulk-like muscles without a single workout? The key is in the DNA of a real-life Mighty Mouse. And later, the fastest man on no legs could soon be the fastest man on Earth.
The future behold.
The age of superhumans is about to get a step closer thanks to this genetically hacked mouse with out-of-control muscle mass. Its creator is Dr. Se-Jin Lee. If his experiments on mice are successful, any one of us could just drop a pill and bulk up to superhuman proportions. This smart doc works at the Johns Hopkins Medical School in Baltimore, where he's been busy tinkering with the muscle gene he discovered in 1997.
Myostatin is a gene that regulates the amount of muscle that you have, and normally it acts as a negative regulator, meaning that it normally acts to block muscle growth.
After he found the piece of mouse DNA that limits muscle growth, he did the obvious thing. He deleted the myostatin gene in a mouse embryo and sat back to watch that baby bulk up. Before he knew it, he'd created Mighty Mouse, a freakishly strong rodent more than twice the size of his lab mates. If we zapped our own myostatin genes, we could all be Hulk-sized and hopefully less green. But we don't need any lab experiments to prove that. There are 2 known cases of boys who were born with mutations on their myostatin genes. One is not-so-little Liam Hoekstra from Michigan, who could lift 5-pound weights in each hand when he was 3.
The boy was shown to have about twice the muscle mass of normal children his age.
But do bigger muscles mean superhuman strength? To check this out, Dr. Lee decides to start a rat race. He pits the myostatin-free Mighty Mouse against his wimpy cousin.
What we've done is put the regular mouse into this ball here, Mighty Mouse into this ball, and I'm going to let go and see how they compare to each other.
My money is on Mighty Mouse turning into Speedy Gonzalez.
I think the normal mouse seems to be faring much better in this. I wonder whether the Mighty Mouse, because it weighs so much more and is more confined, is maybe having a harder time getting going.
Okay, bodybuilders won't make the track team. But before you give up on myostatin, take a look at these racing dogs.
Whippets in general are very sleek racing dogs, but breeders had noticed that sometimes you'd get these very heavily muscled animals that they call bully whippets. The bully whippets actually turn out to have mutations in both copies of their myostatin gene, so they have no myostatin protein at all, and that's what leads to this incredible muscling.
Just like Mighty Mouse, myostatin-free bully whippets are not the fastest racers. But another natural mutation of the whippet found the secret to supreme speed.
Race dogs that have the highest racing performance generally are the ones that have one defective copy, suggesting that the little bit of extra muscling that you get by removing one in dogs is enough to give you this racing edge.
Dr. Lee's work could soon identify the ideal amount of myostatin for a mouse. And perhaps 20 years from now, we'll be able to pop a myostatin zapping gene pill and dial in the amount of muscle mass we want.
You can vary the amount of muscle growth that you get, just like you can dial in how much light you get in a room by adjusting a rheostat.
Dr. Lee's myostatin research offers hope for people with muscle-wasting diseases, but I'm not sure I'm ready to tweak my own DNA just to get bigger muscles. For now, the Incredible Hulk is safe. But as soon as the testing is done, I'm coming for you, Ferrigno. I'm coming for you.
If you think muscles are the only way to become a superhuman, walk a mile in this man's shoes. His name is Oscar Pistorius, also known as the fastest man on no legs. In 2008, Pistorius became the fourth fastest man in South Africa, running the 200 meters in 21.5 seconds. In fact, he almost made the Olympic track team.
If I live my life by the motto, you're not disabled by the disabilities that you have, but able by the abilities. I feel that we've got millions of abilities that allow us to overcome those disabilities, and therefore we're far more able than we'll ever be disabled.
Oscar owes his success to incredible determination and some amazing breakthroughs in prosthetic limb technology. These new discoveries are finally making it possible for thousands of amputees to have an active lifestyle. Today's prosthetics are getting better and better, using new materials and designs to add spring to your step. They help you walk or run by bending on impact and then flexing back into shape. But they don't power you like muscles do. Closing the gap between prosthetic and biological legs is the goal of Hugh Herb. He's director of the Biomechatronics Group at MIT's Media Lab.
What we're trying to achieve in this lab is an external prosthesis that demonstrates the same dynamics as the missing body part in the case of amputation. We're actually building parts of people's bodies.
Hugh is especially suited to his profession. He's a double amputee.
When I was 17, I was an avid mountain climber. I was labeled as a child prodigy, and I was in a tragic mountain climbing accident, and I suffered frostbite, and my doctors had to amputate both of my legs below my knee.
Hugh's drive to climb again turned a tragic event into the motivation for his life's work.
I got in the machine shop, and I started grinding and cutting and developed various prostheses that enabled me to stand on rock edges the width of a coin, spike feet to go into ice walls. I was actually able to climb at a more advanced level after my accident with artificial limbs that I had achieved before my accident with regular old biological legs. So I really became interested in design and this notion that technology can extend human capability.
Hugh's lab is the world leader in prosthetic leg research. He and his team of MIT whiz kids have cracked the problem that for years has kept prosthetics one step behind biological legs, giving them the same power, stability, and flexibility as a real leg.
Right here you see a simulation of the human body. It simulates and models the dynamics of the muscles and tendons in your legs, including the spinal reflexes. So the interesting thing here is that, as you can see, the ground is changing as there are little steps here. And this model, the simulation, instead of stumbling and falling over, it actually can adapt as the terrain changes in real time without us having to tell it what to do.
Walking over changing terrain is easy for most of us because we use muscle power to cope with bumps, hills, or obstacles. Springs and cables in today's prosthetics provide the flexibility of tendons. But now Her has developed a motorized foot that provides muscle power as well. Hugh's powered foot is still in the prototype phase, but he's already wearing it and loving it.
This is the world's first powered foot-ankle robot that's shaped like the human leg. It's as powerful as the human leg. It has 2 computers that allow it to adapt across different terrains. It allows me to walk at very low human-like energies. I can walk as fast as people with intact limbs. And I can do something that people with intact limbs can't do. With my cell phone, I can program my body. So just with a flick of a finger, I can change how stiff it is, how much power it gives me. Then I can go back to talk to my friends.
That's one small step for man.
One giant leap in prosthetic technology. Hugh's smart foot adjusts itself to wherever he's walking, tilting up when he climbs stairs, pointing the toe down when he descends. Overall, it works the same way as a biological foot. And pretty soon, Hugh tells me, it's going to work better.
We believe it possible in the next few years that amputees will be able to walk with even lower energy than is possible with a person that has intact limbs. Why? Because the robot has its own power supplies, has its own energy.
Coming up, we hit the climbing wall and compare my legs to the best ones science can produce.
Oh my God. Ah!
And later, regrow a missing body part. Add just a dash of powdered pig bladder.
The future we hold.
Prosthetic limbs as good as the real thing are right on the horizon. And the first superhumans may actually be part man, part machine.
Here we imagine a world where instead of going to bike rack, you go to a leg rack. And what that will allow people to do is walk across and run across all terrains.
To see how this plug-and-play superhuman works, I met with Hugh at his favorite climbing wall.
Now, how many different sets of legs or modules or attachments would you take with you on a climb?
Let me ask you, if I go into your closet, how many pairs of shoes do you have?
Wow, I have a lot of shoes.
Yeah, I have a lot of legs.
Okay, I have 10 pair of shoes.
10 pairs of legs.
Can you describe to me some of the difference between these two prosthetics? What makes the one on the left better for climbing?
It's much, much lighter than this. So this is a human-like weight, and this is much, much lighter than your leg. So I have the same upper body, so I can do more, I can pull my body weight, do more pull-ups than is natural.
Okay. Another unfair advantage.
And I can also stand on rock edges the width of a coin. So these are specially designed so I can stand on very, very small pebbles.
Now, I'm not a rock climber, but I wanted to get a physical sense of what Hugh has to do on a rock face. So I decided to give it a go.
That's secure, right?
Very secure.
Okay.
All right, you are on belay. Okay. Climbing ready. Good. Good. And put your foot up here.
My muscles in my thigh are feeling good. Can't grab that.
My climb with biological legs left a lot to be desired.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't die. I didn't die.
Then it was Hugh's turn.
Okay, see, maybe I could have done that. I couldn't have done that. That's a tiny rock.
Within seconds, Hugh climbs past the point it took me 5 minutes of terror to reach.
How's that?
It's just that easy, huh?
Yeah, trivial.
Okay.
Someday, maybe.
Someday, definitely.
As I age, you know, every month I get software updates. So as I age, this part of my body gets better and better and better.
So your legs are getting younger.
Absolutely, yeah. My biology is going this way, degrading, and my artificial self is climbing up. So when I'm 80, I'll have a better balance than my octogenarian friends.
Okay, that's just not fair. Because you'll have the wisdom of all these lived years and the body that you've updated every 6 months with firmware and new pieces of hardware.
Yeah, life isn't fair.
What sort of advancements are you working on next for these?
Oh, for these, actually, to put a neural implant inside my body so I can think and activate my muscles and directly control my artificial part.
A decade or two from now, losing a leg won't be the handicap it can be today. In fact, artificial legs may be better than those you were born with. Imagine a future where the Paralympics breaks more world records than the Summer Olympics. It could happen. In the future, we might all choose to replace our aging limbs with a high-tech upgrade.
The assumptions that we have about what happens to us in our bodies as we get older are really turned upside down. The script is flipped, if you will, with this whole idea of an extensible superhuman body.
The potential for mechanically improving the human body is huge, but there may soon be an even better way to repair or replace damaged body parts. Not with steel and carbon fiber, but with our own flesh and blood. The case of Lee Spivak suggests a possibility that is almost miraculous, and his story sounds like an urban legend. Lee's a skilled model maker who works in a hobby store. One day in 2005, he was talking to a customer about an airplane and had a terrible accident.
I was squatting behind the wing of the airplane, and I raised my hand and pointed to the engine and told the gentleman he needed to get rid of that engine. And doing that, I put my finger through the end of the prop and cut off about a 3/8 to a 1/2 inch of the fingertip.
Normally, an accident like this would mean a trip to the ER and spending the rest of your life with a hacked-off finger. But Lee had an ace up his sleeve. His brother Alan was a research doctor who had spent years working on limb regeneration. He developed an experimental powder, though it had never been used on humans. Lee agreed to try it and had some shipped to him.
So go in, take a shower, let the Band-Aid wash off your hand, and then pat it dry with a completely clean towel. And then I want you, while it's still wet, to pour the powder over the injury, just putting it over the top, and then putting a Band-Aid over it, which is exactly what I did.
After doing this every day for a few weeks, his fingertips started to regrow, even the nail.
My next statement to my brother was, "How will it know when to stop?" And he said, "It'll know." So it did, in 4 weeks, completely regrow.
Coming up, the long-sought power of regeneration may come from a shocking source.
The future we hold.
In 2005, a 72-year-old man accidentally cut off his fingertip. A few weeks later, after sprinkling sent to him by his brother, his finger grew back, just the way it was before. Even the nail. I've heard about young kids growing back a fingertip, but never an elderly man. Now, Dr. Stephen Badylak at the University of Pittsburgh is spearheading an investigation into exactly how this magical powder works. He's a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine. Or, put another way,
I grow body parts.
hey, it's a living. In fact, it's about life in its early stages and how we might recapture the regenerative powers of the human fetus. When we're in the womb, if we lose a limb, it just grows back. That's because before we're born, every cell in our body has the potential to become part of any organ or any limb.
It's rather remarkable, isn't it, that within 9 months we can start with a single cell and form a complex entire human being. And so, in essence, what we would like to do is to temporarily and locally make the body think that it's a fetus again, just at the injured part. Just regrow it rather than respond to injury.
We don't know why we lose the power of regeneration once we're born. Newts and salamanders can grow back legs their entire lives. Badilak thinks humans should be able to do the same. It's just a matter of sending our cells the right instructions.
Our job is to try to figure out those signals that occurred or were turned on when we were developing fetus and say, what happened to them? Why did they get shut down?
We follow all sorts of signals in our daily life. Green says go, red says stop, yellow says hurry up. It's gonna turn red. When we injure ourselves, the body sends out signals to reroute its activities to start the healing. And though he can't yet read the signals, Badilak believes they come from chemicals floating around in the soup between the cells, something called the extracellular matrix.
The extracellular matrix for a long time was considered to be nothing more than the glue that held cells together. But in the past 20 years, we've learned that it's an information highway between cells that can tell cells, for example, you should be dividing, or you should be migrating, or you should be differentiating into a piece of bone or a piece of muscle.
And here's where the mysterious white powder comes in. Lee Spivak's brother made it from the extracellular matrix of pig bladders. That's right. The power to regrow a finger came from a farm animal. There were no actual pig cells in the powder, just the dried extracellular matrix. And when Lee sprinkled it on the wounded end of his finger, bam, it turned back into soup. So maybe, just maybe, that pig soup generates growth signals for the cells, the same way blood does when we cut ourselves. If I cut my finger, blood seeps into the wound, creating an environment full of signals telling cells to regrow. But if a cut goes really deep, the body can't fill the entire hole with blood. No matrix, no signals, no regrowth. All that's left is a big scar. But if you apply dried matrix materials from a pig, it creates a thin layer filled with signals that tell the cells to grow back. Day by day, one thin layer at a time, the finger heals itself. That's what Lee Spivak's brother discovered.
He found out by taking the third layer of a pig's bladder, processing it, taking all the cells out of it, the pig cells out of it, this material would actually entice the body to regrow tissue and organs and so on.
Here in Badilak's lab, researchers continue to work with pig bladders. Pigs are the most similar to humans of all domesticated animals, and the bladder is easy to shape into large sheets.
We can either use the entire sheet to cover wounds, we can make a powdered form out of it that fits well for uses where we want to cover an irregularly shaped wound.
What I want to know is, could we use this stuff to grow more than just fingertips?
So I think even major body parts that are lost, like a hand, we will learn how to regrow functional heart tissue, I'm convinced. I think these are within the foreseeable future. I'm an optimist, but also a realist, and I think the future is very bright.
We're always coming up with new ways to upgrade our bodies, making us faster, stronger, and more adaptable. Now, from the inside out, we can keep cool, work out longer, and recover more quickly. We can manipulate our genes to unlock muscle growth potential. We can regrow missing limbs. Or we can approach things from the outside in, replace those missing limbs with metal and microchips. We can wear technology which adds a sixth sense layer of information directly to our bodies, even to our eyes. In the future, we'll all be a bit more superhuman.